So we're talking about Somalia today. It's New Year's Eve, so the Somalia story is a huge, huge, huge thing that's happening right now, and it's one of those stories that it's been breaking for a while, and the news media has been trying to suppress it. They have not been addressing it, but the thing is that it got so huge that they can't ignore it. And if you watch now, basically what the news media is saying is they're going, "Oh yeah, we've known about this fraud." So they're already oh yeah, we've known about this fraud. We know that this fraud's been going on. It's being investigated. So
Mhm.
basically what they're doing is the news media collectively is Officer Bar Brady. Nothing to see here, move along. Nothing to see here, move along. And they're covering for this amazing fraud. So, anyways, that's how I'm opening this thing up. Chuck, what are your thoughts on what's happening in Somalia, Minnesota?
All right, well, as far as them bringing up that this has been ongoing, it's funny. I didn't see CNN reporting that, though. I did see CNN finally reported it, and they are just trying to run cover. But apparently, there's been investigations that have been going on into a lot of these daycare centers in the first place. So it's not like okay, so overall, I'm trying to play devil's advocate on this. We're at a point where you and I, people like that are on our end of things, we're easily susceptible to being fooled. Now, I'm not saying that Nick Shirley is a liar. I'm not saying that Nick Shirley's trying to pull one over on us at all. I'm just saying the possibility exists. So, like the way CNN's trying to run cover is they're saying like, oh, these are off hours. Oh, it's manipulated video. Even the owners have come out and said it's manipulated video. And then rather than saying like, oh, look at these lying POSs, I'm willing to step back and say, wait a second. I personally, sitting here in Pennsylvania, don't have enough information. It looks like fraud to me. I believe it's fraud, but I'm not going to bring it to court and argue it. I'm going to wait and see how the pieces fall. I understand Cash Patel's got the FBI involved in it now, so then we should have some genuine, actual information that we can all rely on and not argue. And that's where I am with it. I'm all for cutting out fraud. I believe it's happened. I despise Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz, and I think they're all either complicit or completely incompetent that it got by them. But I can't prove that. I'm trying to be reasonable, a reasonable American.
Right. All right. So, for context, let's take a step backwards real quick and just explain in case people don't understand what we're talking about. So, you have this YouTuber named Nick Shirley. He's a 23-year-old kid who has exposed this tremendous multi-billion or multi-million dollar, I think, what was the number I
It's
saw? I think it was,
potentially a billion. It's potentially a billion. It's
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
hundreds
yeah.
of millions, but potentially a billion.
So hundreds of millions of dollars worth of fraud committed by folks that are fraudulently opening shell daycare centers. So basically, what they're doing is they're filling out all the paperwork to claim that they're a daycare center so that they can receive subsidies from the government. However, there's no children to be found. There's no children to be found. And this has been happening for almost a decade, and nobody's really been talking about it. Now, all of a sudden, this kid, Nick Shirley, happens upon this story and it blows up. So now what's happening, and this is where it's funny, I feel a need to defend this kid. And the reason why I feel a need to defend this kid is because most people know who Nick Shirley is because of this Minnesota story. I've been following Nick Shirley for years and years and years. And some of the arguments that I've made are based upon videos that I've watched that Nick Shirley has made talking about the border, immigration issues, homeless people in Chicago who are being displaced, documented migrants who are coming across the border in droves. He was at the border filming people at the border as they were crossing by
Yeah.
himself as a 21-year-old kid. This kid has done incredible man on the street journalism. So now, because they know nothing, this guy, Nick Shirley, hits on a story that's huge. And now all of a sudden he's a MAGA. See, they're
Of
tagging
course.
him as he's
Of
a
course he
MAGA
is.
YouTuber. He is definitely conservative. He's conservative. He's a Mormon kid from Utah. But I've been watching this guy for years, and I have never really seen him say anything about Donald Trump.
Mhm.
Now they're accusing him of being racist. Why? Because it's Somalians, and that's the only defense they can have.
Yeah, well, that and Tim Walz went out on stage and started to steer it towards white people, white supremacy. White people had to do illegal things too. Does that mean you're admitting that there's been illegal things going on with the Somali community? It's ridiculous. So yeah, they love the point, and that's how you know he's over the target. If they follow fire back with "you're a racist," you know there's something accurate about it, which is
I
why I
saw
tend to believe what's going on.
saw an interview with Nick Shirley today where he said that his generation's tired of it, and I love it. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it
they
because
are.
I'll be honest with you, I post stuff online now. I'm going to admit I post stuff online hoping somebody's going to accuse me of being racist. I've been
Mm,
attacking this racism issue online for a while now because the thing is that racism is the tool to get good people to shut up. I don't want to be called a racist. I don't want to be, so I'm going to shut up and I'm going to allow this to continue.
yeah.
It's weaponized empathy. It's weaponized empathy, and that's exactly how this happened in the first place. So if you want to go into the
We'll have to
history of
tweet
this,
to that. Yeah, we will
how
have
did
to
the
tweet to that. The
Somalians end up in Minnesota?
how this
You-
mass immigration, Ilhan Omar. Also, if I really want to take it farther, it's been reported that fraud is so easy to achieve in Minnesota that they actually come from out of state, go to Minnesota so they can achieve said fraud. Hence the daycare fraud or this other Medicaid fraud or whatever fraud's going on in there because apparently it's the fraud capital of America.
Is it the fraud capital of America, or is it the catalyst for us to discover all of the fraud that's happening all over the place? Because now you're seeing people in Ohio, you're seeing people in
Yeah.
Philadelphia, you're seeing people in Seattle. You're seeing where this is happening over and over and over and over and over again. And what you're starting to see is you're starting to see how people in charge have been using the system to take our tax dollars away from us. The truth of the matter is when you have a country of 350 million people and say 40% of those people are paying taxes. So less than 50% of the population is paying taxes. So say it's 160 million people are paying taxes. 160 million people paying
Hmm.
taxes. They're not paying a penny, you know. If they're all paying a dollar, that's $160 million worth of revenue right there, but they're
Right.
not paying a dollar.
No,
They're
they're
paying
paying hit.
tens of thousands of dollars each. They're
Yeah, a
paying,
paycheck. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like Chris Rock said, you don't pay taxes, the government takes taxes. They
Hmm.
take taxes, and it still doesn't change the fact that we have potholes and all these kind of things. Meanwhile, there's millions and millions and millions of dollars. You look at what Tim Waltz says. Oh, well, our children are taken care of, and we have all these. You see him in the vice presidential debate where they weaponize empathy. Oh, these people in the state of Minnesota, these people can't work because their kids are being held back. So what we're doing is we're creating all these daycare systems so that these kids can go to daycare and be taken care of,
Yeah.
but they're never actually going to the daycares. They're never actually going to the daycares, and they're just funneling the money and they're getting a tremendous amount of wealth. Back in the early 90s, we were part of the overthrow of the Somalian government. We were part of a
Of course.
coup attempt, right? Yeah. Guess
No,
what?
this is why we're talking to you. This is shit that I don't know. I'm like, okay, man, have fun with that. Go.
Right, right. So here we go. Ready? So there was a movie where everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's a shame that that Black Hawk went down."
Oh
Oh, did
yeah.
you know Jamie Lannister was in Black Hawk Down? Black Hawk Down. What is Black Hawk Down? Black Hawk Down is a bunch of anonymous Africans. It could have been Sudan. It could have been whatever. Guess
Mm.
what?
It was
It was
Somali.
Somalia. It was Somalia, right? Nobody cared about that kind of stuff, It was
Mhm.
Somalia. So there's all these displaced people from when the United States goes in and displaces the country. And it's like, man, we need to take care of these poor refugees. You,
Mhm.
white people, shut up. You're racist. Shut up and allow these people into our country because they're poor people. They have nowhere else to go. They have nowhere else to go. They've
Mhm.
been displaced. Why have they been displaced? Because America displaced them. And then they bring them and they go, hey, guess what? You sweet little Somalian people, do you think these guys know how to commit white collar daycare fraud? Do you think they know how to commit white collar daycare fraud? No, they don't. That's why they rob boats.
Oh yeah, Somali
Seriously,
pirates. Yeah.
Somali pirates. That's what they do. They rob boats. They're criminally inclined. Oh my God, Dan, you are racist. Not all Somalian people are. No, you're right. Not all Somalian people are criminally inclined. Just the ones in Minnesota are. But you can't say that because people will accuse you of being racist. So you shut up and the fraud continues. The fraud continues. And that's just one little piece of it.
Mm.
Minnesota is not the tip of the iceberg. Minnesota is where the spotlight is shining. It is all over the place. And everyone's going, oh, it's Donald Trump's fault. It's Donald Trump. He's bad. Tim Walz tweets. What does Tim Walz tweet? He's in the center of the fraud. And what's he saying? This is Trump's long game. So he says, this is Trump's long game. Right away, a whole bunch of people
What's
will
the
be like,
long game? What's the long game?
we've spent years cracking down on fraudsters. It's a serious issue, but this has been his plan all along. He's politicizing the issue to defund programs that help Minnesotans.
Uh, he's trying to say that Donald Trump is just looking for any excuse possible to take money away from good, honest, hardworking people that aren't white.
Or what he's doing is he's deflecting onto the bad orange man because a lot of people will immediately attach. Oh no, we're not going to go after Tim Walz. You know why? Because we don't care. This is the truth of how people feel. They don't care about Tim Walz's fraud. They care about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Yeah.
So Somalians can steal all our money forever. We don't care because Orange Man bad. It's amazing the blinders that have been put on people. That's why the news calls Nick Shirley a MAGA YouTuber. He's a MAGA. I've been watching Nick Shirley for years.
Yeah.
For years. He's exposing what's happening on the streets. If people paid attention to Nick Shirley, a lot more people would be informed about what's happening out there.